And hello, everybody. It is April 1st, 2022. I'm Mark Newstater with eXp Realty here with another weekly real estate update. And we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So thanks for joining us live. And thank you for watching this later on when you may have some time to watch it. So we had another busy week in real estate. March is done. We're into April. And so as I teased in my promo for today, Dwight Schrute, famously on The Office, if you're a fan, said, "What is going on and what is happening?" And so that is what we're going to talk about today. Again, disseminating the real estate stats for you, hopefully in a very easy to understand way. Jaden Bax is having some technical difficulties, so we will add him to the broadcast if he can make it on here. So let's take a look at our stats for the week leading up to April 1st. So we had 515 new listings. So that is the most we've had in 3 weeks, and certainly a lot more than the previous 2 weeks. Now, we're getting through some of the spring breaks. I think I don't have school-age kids anymore, but that might have an impact on people not wanting to list their home over spring break. Who knows? We had 486 sold, so definitely lower than really. That's the lowest number we've had in the past 5 weeks. And then we had 340 pendings, also almost the second lowest number we've had in the past 5 weeks. And there's Jaden. So we're going to welcome him to the stream here. All right, so we're just rolling through stats here, Jaden. Total pending plus sold of 826. Again, looking at the numbers, that is also the lowest in the past 5 weeks. Net difference of plus 386. And certainly that doesn't come close to what we had with that plus 179 at the end of February into March. 198 price reductions. So as I'm seeing these stats, right, like it's always a trend. And so I'm seeing a trend here. A lot of price reductions and a lot less solds plus pendings and more new listings. So we'll obviously, we track this every week. If this continues over the next few weeks, then I think we've really got a bit of a change in the market. So 198 price reductions, 1,798 detached listings compared to 1,373 5 weeks ago. So that's a significant increase. Not, again, I've said this many times, not strange for this time of year. And our total listings with detached apartment condos, row townhouses, and semi-detached at 3,500. That is a high for the year, no doubt about that. So when we look back at a year ago, this past week, total of 873 sales. And again, those incorporate, all the different categories, not just detached, as I detailed in the screen prior to this, if you've never seen this video before. New listings of 1,074. We had active listings of 4,365. So we're only 20% down from last year. So these numbers are starting to shrink. The gap is starting to shrink, I should say. Pendings are still really high above last year, but again, that number is even shrinking. And median average prices, days on market, very similar to where we were last week. So really, a bit of a change this week again. But as we always say, we monitor, as I just mentioned, and we'll see if this is really a trend going over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks here. And with that, let's throw it over to Jaden for some interest rate news.
Yeah, and I think these don't look like they updated from what I updated before. These numbers are oh, sorry, they did it. So it's what we're seeing now is that these are some of the outlier banks that are on the lower end of things right now. If you're really looking at high ratio, what kind of the average is right now on a 5-year fixed high ratio, we're looking more 374, 379, somewhere in that area, and we're seeing in that kind of that fixed uninsurable side, some of the bigger banks going to 409, right? So we're starting to get into that 4% on the fixed side. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's kind of back like it's back to basically where it was about 6 months, 8 months pre-pandemic. We're kind of getting back to that kind of pricing, right? And so people are getting scared of this pricing, and rates are out of control, and the fact is that we're just kind of getting back. The problem with that is that we're going to see more rises over the next year, right? And particularly in the, fixed is going to continue to go up a little bit with the instability in the market. But on the variable side, we have another look at prime in April. Very likely at least a quarter point, maybe a half point up. I'm having people ask me all the time. I hear all about all these variable rises that are going to happen this year. What are you saying? I'm saying, well, I'm still seeing variable at 1.6% compared to, that 3.7. So you have, 8 hikes to go up to get to that where the fixed is today.
Right. And so can I interrupt for 1 second? Because I had a great question actually from a realtor friend of mine the other day, who's on a variable rate, and she's getting nervous with the rises. And I said, well, I know Jaden would say it will take a lot of interest rate bumps for it to even begin touching fixed rate. Is that still your recommendation?
Yeah, I still really like variable. I think people who are wanting to save some money or pay off their mortgage faster are still going variable. It's just hard to say what the future will bring. We know that 2022 will see several more hikes, but we're already talking about. There's some economists talking about recession in 2023, and so if we head into a recession world, then we see those hikes come back down again, right? So yeah. I still think there's a lot of room there. I have a lot of clients as well who are nervous about things and asking me, is it time to lock in? And so the problem is that you're going from that current 1.7 that might even go up to 2.7 or in the low threes, but you're locking into the mid threes now. And so, what are you locking in for? You're kind of locking in at the high point. I think there's some space to let this ride a little bit and see what happens, through the end of 2022 into 2023.
Okay. Well, there we go. That's the update there. We'll just slide back to the stats. And again, I just want to recap here. So, nothing earth-shattering, but certainly we saw a definite bump up in sales, in new listings this week compared to the last 2 weeks, similar to 4 weeks ago. And I think that was a bit of an outlier there at the end of February, going into March at 642, sold at 486. So definitely down, lowest it's been in 5 weeks, and pendings, second lowest they've been in 5 weeks. Sold plus pending, second lowest, basically the same as they were 5 weeks ago, and our net difference at 386. So is it still a good time to sell? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question. I just listed a property in Woodbine this morning, and I haven't checked recently. I think we're up to 5 or 6 showings already, first day on the market. And obviously showings don't mean everything. But what I will say is that if we don't get showings, the odds of getting an offer are pretty much zero. So you need the showings to get, an offer. And there are some ratios that I kind of use with my experience to say, well, if we get X amount of showings, we should get X amount of offers if it's priced right. So I'd be happy to go through all that with you. One other thing I wanted to talk about, Jaden is a rock star in the mortgage world. And I was writing an offer last night with a client. And the first thing that came back from the seller's agent was, we've always put in a 2-week condition period for mortgage financing and inspection. And I said to Jaden, we need to get this financing condition removed in a week. Can you do it? Can you do it? And Jaden's answer was?
Yes, of course. And it's for the right client with the right lender, right? So yeah. That's always the case. Just know that, it happened to be a lender that I was thinking about for this client anyway. But I have a great relationship with them. I know the underwriter very well, and I know how quickly they can turn things around for me. So absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's a great example of having a lender, a mortgage broker like Jaden on your side, where you have all your documents in, you have so much of the legwork done is so important to get an offer. Now, we still don't have an accepted offer. The seller decided to wait until today to review them, and that's fine. That's up to the seller. But we're in a great position. We know we can remove that mortgage condition super quick. A lot of agents are not going to be able to come in because they're dealing with, the clients are dealing with a bank. With all due respect, they're just not as quick as a mortgage broker, I find often. It's been my personal experience. And we have Jaden on our side, who I know I can text at whatever time it was last night So you want a team working for you, you got it right here. So Jaden, thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for providing the great update again today. And enjoy April Fools. I got no real good jokes. You have any good April Fools jokes for me?
No, and I'm in Brazil, and it's not you don't do pranks on April Fools here. It's you lie on April Fools. So this is my lie of the day. Rates will go down next week.
Exactly. Everyone knows you're absolutely lying there. So, but who knows? Jaden, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. And we will be back in 7 days with another market update. Have a great end of Thursday or Friday. Hold on, it's Friday. That was April Fool's. It's not Thursday. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you in a week.
Bye, guys.